Hello and welcome to my daily video log where I cover life according to Jay as I go through yoga teacher training. I was going to go to a 3-video-a-week schedule and that failed at first. I mean, it didn't really fail. Lots of technical difficulties. Wednesday, it was raining and I pulled over to a spiffy little mill and I attempted to record what would have been Wednesday's video, and it turned out to be the greatest and best video that I've ever recorded. It was truly remarkable. And it was corrupted. Apparently, it was too powerful for the world, and some guardian of the timeline destroyed the footage. So I could see the video, I could not hear it, and it was not something that I could upload, because every time I uploaded it, it said there was a problem no matter what I did. It was so upsetting. And I lost my camera mount. It was just one succession of foolishness after another. A lot of good opportunities for patience, to learn and practice patience. Wednesday was finding your voice. The irony. Is that irony or is that Alanis Morissette irony? The class on Wednesday was finding your voice, and the focus of the class was to teach using only your voice. You cannot model the positions, model them. You cannot do any corrections. You have to sit at the mat, sit at the front of the class, and use only your words and speak. And I was feeling really anxious, and I couldn't determine why I was feeling anxious. I've taught class a whole bunch of times. I've even sat with those people a whole bunch of times. I've taught those people a couple of times. We've all taken turns cueing each other, and for whatever reason, I was anxious. And everything went fine, as they often do. It was a good class. It was something like, I don't know, 72 sun salutations over the course of 2.5 hours. And it was a good physical challenge, and it was a good class to just, to be in and to teach. And I've got some things running around my head lately. One of them is something I learned years ago, part of something called a dojo-kun. And it's something like strengthen your spirit through continuous practice. And I realized that what it means is no matter where you go and what you do, you can practice. Like, life is not a series of skills you arrive at and then don't have to work on. You've heard people say, I'm rusty at something, right? I haven't done this in years, and I'm rusty. The same thing holds true with emotional skills and emotional wisdom. You may have the patience of a saint one day, and you may be in short supply the next. And it occurs to me, after many, 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 many years, that that's what that line, strengthen your spirit through continuous practice, is talking about. There is no end to learning, right? We know that. We know that, people hear that all the time. I'm always a student. And what does that really mean? It means a lot of things to different people. For me right now, it means always trying. It's not the easiest thing for me to articulate. Emotional wisdom is not something achieved. It is something that you practice all the time. And when you find yourself in emotionally difficult conditions. It is an opportunity to double down on that practice, right? As I stare pensively off in the distance. I'm leaving all of this in, despite this babbling, slight incoherency that I'm putting out right now. Continuously practicing something doesn't mean you ever actually get so good at it that you master it. Because you will always perceive the elements of it that you're not good at. Other people may find that you are very good at something, and they say, hey, you're really good at this, and you say, oh, you don't know anything, I'm terrible. It's another example of how we view everything from the inside looking out. Right? We don't accept compliments so well because we know our own failings. Wow, this video is going all over the place. I'm going to chew on these ideas a bit more, just a skosh more chewing. The other thing that I wanted to talk about, in particular, this dawned on me as I was reflecting upon my class experience on Wednesday, is that there's a great deal of trust being placed in you as a yoga instructor. You can look at credentials, right? We're a society that values credentials oh so much. And sometimes we value those credentials over the personal experiences and capabilities of the people who have or don't have them. There's numerous times that's been illustrated. I thought he was a professional. I thought he was an expert. I thought they knew what they were doing. But people, you know, like if I go to a dozen classes, I might see one person that I recognize. The people who flow in and out of classes, the people who flow in and out of classes, particularly in power yoga, where people are working for a workout, you know, they're looking to get pumped. They, you know, they come into classes as the class's schedule fits their lives, and they're trusting this person at the head of the class to lead a good class without really knowing too much about them. Other than that, they have been given a certificate, or they've earned a certificate from some other regulating body. And you put your faith in that regulating body without really knowing anything about it. Maybe you do, right? Of course, there's going to be somebody who's going to watch this video and they're going to say, I always look everything up. Sure you do. Fine, this video is not for you, okay? The point is we put trust into people, particularly into our physical well-being when we do things like hire a personal trainer or like a yoga teacher where you go into class and you're going to wait for this person to talk to you and cue you, and you're going to put your body into shapes and you're going to hope that you get out of that class what you get. And if you do, you return to the class. It's a humbling experience. I decided to do my turn in finding my voice last. Really interesting shadows. Because, never mind. Lighting is my bane right now of creating these videos. Anyway. It was a humbling experience. I decided to do my flow last. Everybody else went. I had done every single other flow and I was beat. It's a lot of sun salutations over a long period of time. And I got up to the front of class. And as I walked up to the front of class, I thought about all the people who support me. And I could feel my swagger kind of set in. Like I felt like I got this. That's not to say I felt like I knew what I was doing so well that I wasn't going to make any mistakes, but I felt like no matter what happened, I knew I was going to be okay. And that speaks to what confidence really is. Is confidence knowing you can do something, or is confidence knowing that you're going to be okay no matter what happens when doing something? And it's a wonderful thought that I need to chew on some more. I sat down on, there's a fireplace, a gas fireplace in the front of the class. It wasn't lit. And I sat down on it. And I turned to the class, and it was humbling to see all of these students sitting and standing, looking towards me, waiting for my voice. It was great. It was really something else. They were all standing up there, waiting for me to speak, waiting for me to lead the next flow. And that's when it dawned on me how much trust. Not only were they waiting for me to speak my truth, which is how I view teaching. More on that later. Not only were they waiting, but they were trusting me with whatever I was going to say. They were going to do their best to follow my cues, and I cued them wrong. I think I did one too many Sun A's. We got to the point where we might have done 3 Sun A's, or maybe we did 2 Sun A's, and so I said, I seem to have lost count, but we have time. We'll just do another one just in case. And I got a couple of groans out of the class because everybody was a bit fatigued. It had been a long day. It had been over 2.5 hours of sun salutations. So we groaned our way through either the 3rd or 4th Sun A, and we went into Sun B. And I forgot to do 2 Warrior 1s. Sun B has a chair and 2 Warrior 1s in it, and I forgot them, which I thought was hysterical. So maybe it doesn't matter because we did maybe an extra Sun A. I'm sure some of you were listening to this saying, what are you even talking about? And when we got to the last downward facing dog and I started cueing my way up to the last Tadasana, I felt a little twinge. I wasn't sad. I felt like a little twinge, like, well, this is the end of my first flow. It was great. And it was great to see everyone stick to it even through every single cue I did at the end. Nobody was like, oh, it's the last one. Everybody gave 100% and did their thing, and it was a lot of fun. So I feel like now maybe I'm closer to being able to teach a class, and maybe I'm a step closer to being a yoga teacher. I realize now that cueing people into shapes is not yoga. I did not realize how much I believed that it was yoga in the beginning. I didn't know that I had that belief. I didn't know that I believed cueing people into yoga was teaching yoga. I'm glad that there's 6 more months of classes because I have a lot to learn. I'm looking forward to it. I truly hope this video recorded. If it didn't, I will be sad, and I will record another. So that's what I got today. It's my longest video to date. Good grief. I'm going to close out here. I'm going to pack it in, and I'm going to go head up to class and have another sensational class. Take care. Thanks for listening.